Welcome to this explainer on the Pope Leo encyclical. Today, we embark on a profound journey into faith, history, and artificial intelligence. We will look closely at Chapter 1 of Magnifica Humanitas. Together, we will uncover how the historical journey of the Church prepares all of humanity for the modern age of artificial intelligence.
His Holiness paints a beautiful picture of the Church. He does not view it as an isolated fortress, locked away from the struggles of the world. Instead, the Church is a pilgrim. She walks closely alongside humanity through every single historical era. The Pope Leo encyclical states clearly that openness to dialogue is an essential part of the Church's vocation. This openness allows her to share in the events, the deep questions, and the ultimate aspirations of all people.
As she walks alongside humanity, the Church stands as a visible sign of unity for the entire human family. She deeply respects the proper responsibilities and the autonomy of civil institutions, yet she continually offers the light of the gospel to guide human progress. The Church actively supports choices that elevate the dignity of every person and promote the common good of all peoples. His Holiness uses very precise language to remind us that Church teachings are dynamic. They are certainly not an inert set of concepts. Rather, they form a living corpus of truth. The profound wisdom of the past breathes real life into the difficult questions of today. The Church constantly listens to history to better understand the humanizing power of the gospel. This living tradition is known as social doctrine. It is born from a sacred encounter. It is where the eternal truth of the gospel meets the concrete questions of human history. We must understand that this is a shared discernment rather than a rigid set of external rules imposed from above. It never claims to hold a monopoly on truth. Instead, it acts as a gentle proclamation that blossoms over time within human communities. How does the Church actually engage with the world? Through profound and respectful dialogue. She listens intently to the signs of the times. She engages actively with the human sciences. In fact, His Holiness notes that the Church considers all people who seek truth, goodness, and beauty as precious allies. By interpreting history through the lens of faith, this vital dialogue makes it possible to identify what genuinely fosters human life without diminishing the power of the gospel. This living tradition first took a definitive shape in the year 1891. That is when Pope Leo XIII published Rerum Novarum, responding directly to the industrial age and the fierce conflicts between capital and labor. Decades later, amidst a massive global economic crisis, Pope Pius XI wrote Quadragesimo Anno. This was followed closely by the essential moral guidance of Pope Pius XII during the terrible tragedy of global conflict in the 1940s. These early documents provided profound spiritual and social insights. They established the absolute primacy of human labor over mere financial profit. They defended the basic right to a fair wage for workers and their families. Furthermore, they outlined the societal role of private property, introduced the principle of subsidiarity, and demanded that law always take precedence over force. Together, these teachings protected human dignity from being reduced to a mere tool for economic production. As the world rapidly changed and became deeply interdependent, the Church naturally broadened her global perspective. The 1960s marked a truly pivotal era. It began with Pope John XXIII's Mater and Magistra, followed by the profound global teachings of the Second Vatican Council in Gaudium et Spes. Shortly after that, Pope Paul VI offered Populorum Progressio to address the deeper, pressing needs of a newly globalized society. This expanded vision strongly emphasized universal human rights. It firmly established the absolute necessity of religious freedom. It also introduced the concept of integral human development. Pope Paul VI famously declared that peace is the new name for development. These teachings boldly demanded that all economic and institutional structures must serve the whole person, and indeed all people, without any exception. This rich heritage continues directly into the recent Magisterium. We see it clearly in the writings of St. John Paul II in Laborum Exerciens, Pope Benedict XVI in Caritas in Veritate, and Pope Francis in Laudato Si. Through these works, the Church has directly confronted the complex rise of economic globalization and severe new ecological crises. During this period, St. John Paul II presented a profound dual critique. On one hand, he reflected heavily on the collapse of the Soviet collectivist system. On the other hand, he simultaneously warned against an unchecked market economy that completely lacks human solidarity. The Church stands impartially against all political and economic extremes. Her mission is to defend human dignity far above any earthly ideological system. Recent popes have continued this sacred work with very clear voices. Pope Benedict XVI placed charity and truth at the very center of all authentic human development. Pope Francis then proposed the idea of an integral ecology, demonstrating that care for our common home and care for the poor are completely inseparable. He also called earnestly for social friendship and universal fraternity. The continuous thread is crystal clear. The Church always prioritizes the vulnerable and the marginalized. But this historical journey does not end in the past. This living tradition crosses directly into the digital age. The Pope Leo encyclical applies this exact same wisdom to the rapid technological advancements we witness today. Artificial intelligence is not merely a new theme to be studied. It is a profound shift that challenges the very categories of social doctrine from within, calling us to further development in strict fidelity to the gospel. We are looking at 135 years of continuous moral reflection. His Holiness notes this anniversary of Rerum Novarum with deep gratitude. This history is not a collection of dusty old concepts. It is a firm, tested foundation for facing today's digital revolution. Through 135 years, the eternal truths of the faith have remained open to guide the challenges of every new generation. As we conclude this explainer, I want to leave you with a profound question. How will this living heritage of faith and human dignity guide humanity in the uncharted territory of artificial intelligence? The teachings of His Holiness remind us that we must remain profoundly human. We absolutely must safeguard the grandeur of humanity against any technology that attempts to reduce us to mere data. I invite you to deeply ponder how this spiritual inheritance must shape our technological future.